The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This is what you can look forward to on this friendly neighborhood episode 502 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can.
Just such a cool character. I think the design... Do you think it's more the design?
This was the ultimate crossover.
Yeah.
Spidey and Star Wars. Oh my goodness.
Easy Reader, that's my name.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. You know what we'll call you? Madam Web.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Wait.
No. Okay,
No.
delete. The whip.
Are you ready?
Off to Neverland.
Here we go!
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Never Land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers! If you're looking for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, he can be found right here, and he's bringing a lot of nostalgia. But you'll have to wait for that, because right now, we want to welcome you back to Skywalking Through Neverland. I am Richard Woloski, but now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife, Spidey Sarah. Sarah Spider.
I like Spidey Sarah.
Spidey Sarah.
Spidey Sarah with my Spider-Man top and my bright red sleeves, and I am feeling very Spider-Man.
I was trying to get alliteration, even though Spider Sarah is alliteration, it didn't have that flow.
Didn't roll off the tongue?
Yeah. Like Spider-Gwen, for some reason, rolls off the tongue.
Right, well,
I'm sure Glenn can attest to that.
Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen, so it kind of rhymes. That's why.
That's what,
But Spider-Sarah has an extra syllable in there, and it doesn't end with an N. Or an M.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my previous name, Heitman, would have worked.
Spider Heitman. You know what we'll call you? Madam Web.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Wait.
No. Okay.
No.
Delete. We'll call you my sweetie wife, Sarah.
Okay. Skywalkers, we are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, and pop culture fandom. So it's time for your weekly Wookiee hug. And your little sprinkle of pixie dust. And your Spidey thwip for our family of Skywalkers. Now, we are live on the Skywalking Through Neverland YouTube channel right now. If you joined us live, you got to hear a whole Fantastic Four discussion before this episode even began.
It was a pre-discussion because we want to save our big criticism. Critiques. Viewpoints for things we want to share.
That's right. Now, if you haven't already, please subscribe and then click the little bell for notifications. And subscribing to this channel really, really helps. We are on the cusp of 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Richard, how many subscribers do we have this week?
This has been a banner week.
Oh, okay.
So last week we had 9,230 subscribers on YouTube. We always ask for 5 or 6 more. Well, you Skywalkers went well above and beyond and gave us 18.
Whoa!
18 new subscribers. So we're at 9,248. Oh,
that's
my goodness.
Awesome.
We posted a lot of shorts.
Yeah.
And Albin Johnson from last week, he's got a big following, so I'm sure that helped.
Yeah.
Thank you, Albin.
And thank you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the show. Now, we also climbed on Instagram, and we now broke the 4,450 mark. Yay. So that's pretty awesome. Is that where we're still at? Whoa, no, now we're at 4,458.
Whoa, my goodness.
That's exciting.
Oh.
All right.
All right, we can do it. I've got very, very, very positive feelings that we're going to hit our goals of 10,000 for YouTube and 5,000 for Instagram.
Okay, and Meredith is coming in. Come on, let's make this next week a Bruce Banner week. Or we're hulking out on subscribers. Love it, Meredith. Wow.
That should be something. We're gonna make that into something.
You're the queen of those
of catchphrases.
Of catchphrases. Love it. Queen of catchphrases. Now, in this episode, we are so excited. We are breaking down the new Disney Plus animated series, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And we're going to compare it to the classic Spider-Man comic from 1963. If there's anything we love, it's classic Marvel comics. So that's really fun. We're also going to go over other classic Spider-Man or Spidey iterations and how they are referenced in this new show. The hills are alive with Spider-Man.
Ooh, are you foreshadowing? We will soon find out.
Okay.
But right now, we can say that we are so happy that we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations. And they are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency that can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world, a Disney cruise, or a Universal theme park trip. Oh, we just got a hold of them for our upcoming Universal theme park trip. We are so excited.
We are in the midst of planning with Lisa right now.
And best of all, this service is free. Free? Yep, all free of charge. Why would you not want to use a travel agent? They do all the heavy lifting for you. So head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you, but just don't do a thwip. Okay, that gets very messy when you keep going thwip, and spider webs are everywhere.
Yeah,
they're very
true.
sticky.
Takes an hour to undo. Now, we are recording this episode from Long Beach, California on February the 4th, 2025. So, Richard, what happened today in Star Wars history?
On this date, February the 4th, 2024, just 1 year ago, the Saturn Awards, they honor the best in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. They are presented with lots of Star Wars winners. Star Wars wins Best Animated Television Series or Special for The Bad Batch.
Awesome.
Best New Genre Television Series goes to Andor. The George Pal Memorial Award goes to Dave Filoni. Best Fantasy Film, well, this one goes to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Good. It's getting some recognition. Best Actor in a Film, Harrison Ford for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And Best Music in a Film, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
For John Williams. Excellent. So does that mean that the 2025 Saturn Awards happened?
They were just held on the 2nd of February.
Okay, so what happened
and
this year?
Lots of Star Wars winners once again. Well, and some Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Best Superhero Television Series went to Agatha All Along.
Yay.
Best Animated Series went to The Bad Batch. They know how to pick Oscars, Academy Awards. Listen up. This is how you pick winners, okay?
No kidding.
Best Actress in a Television Series, Rosario Dawson for Ahsoka. Best Guest Star in a Television Series, it goes to Mark Hamill for The Fall of the House of Usher.
Wow, that was like 1 year ago. That series seems like so long ago now.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Best Television Home Media Release goes to Andor, the complete first season by Sony Pictures Home Entertainment.
Okay.
And get ready for this one. Are you sitting down?
Yes.
The special George Pal Memorial Award went to the 40th anniversary of Back to the Future. The 40th anniversary of Back to the Future.
So it doesn't go to a media, it goes to the anniversary of a media.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe they're planning something big. That's all they put down there. So the 40th anniversary gets its own award.
I love it. But how is Back to the Future 40 years?
That's why I say
old?
you got to sit down for this.
And what is weird is they go 30 years in the past in Back to the Future. So we are 10 years beyond the Adventure Under the Sea dance. What is it? Enchantment Under the Sea. Oh my God. So that means 40, 50, we're 70 years away from where they traveled back to the future.
Yes. Let that sink in. Okay.
Sweetie, I feel old.
All right. Do you want me to cheer you up?
Yes.
Let's get into our discussion on your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. There's a segue for you.
Whip.
You happy now?
Whip.
Well, everyone, the long-awaited animated series, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, just premiered on Disney Plus on January 29th with 2 episodes. Now, if you're keeping track, this is the 11th animated Spider-Man series, which went all the way back to 1967.
My 11 animated series.
Animated Spider-Man TV series.
I mean, that makes sense. He's just such a cool character. I think the design. Do you think it's more the design, or do you think it's more how he's a high school kid?
I think the red and blue really just pop.
Yeah, they really do. Like, whenever we go into that new Marvel store in downtown Disney, I'm just drawn to that Spider-Man section. I'm like, I'm surprised I don't have the Spider-Man ears yet, because they're so damn cute.
In the movies, when he got into the dark red and the black outfit, like, no.
No, you need this. You need the red and the blue, and oh, it's beautiful. Well, this new series explores Peter Parker's origin story and early days as Spider-Man in an alternate timeline from the main MCU films and television series. So this time around, Norman Osborn is Peter's mentor, not Tony Stark.
A little confusion when you first started watching. It's like, hey, where are we?
Yeah.
Now, I recall this series being announced at Disney Plus Day back in November 2021.
When they just threw so many things at the wall.
But I really love this one here, really stuck out. But it was first announced as Spider-Man freshman year.
Right.
And I was very excited that Marvel was going back to the origins of Spider-Man from the comics and the first animated series. You know, the Spider-Man does whatever a spider can, spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Watch out! Here comes the Spider-Man. See, yeah, I saw those graphics, that song went through my head, and I got so excited. But then in December of 2023, the series was retitled Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which made even me more excited since that sounds more like retro Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because they would always call him Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Then seeing the animation style that pays homage to the art of the 1963 Amazing Spider-Man comic books by Steve Ditko and John Romita Sr., it all just clicked into place.
And since then, the marketing for this series has been so cute.
I think what really drew me in, it was an animated comic book on TV.
Yeah.
That was the structure of it, and I was so there for that.
Now, okay, so before we continue with comparisons to the comic and the new series breakdown, let's go over our first introductions to Spider-Man. So we have kind of a reference point.
Okay.
Richard, for you, I'm sure it was before my first introduction.
Right. Now, way before your introduction, I was 5 years old when I first saw Spidey Super Stories, which were featured on the Electric Company in 1974. And I can say this was the origin for Skywalking Through Neverland. And
Really?
I say that because on the Electric Company, you never knew which episode was going to feature Spidey Super Stories. So you were always there glued. And that's what I really wanted from Skywalking Through Neverland. Every episode was going to be different. You never knew what you were going to get. Is it going to be a Star Wars episode, a Disney, a Marvel? And it was that structure of the Electric Company that really formed the basis and structure of Skywalking Through Neverland. Now, getting back to Spider-Man, these Spidey Super Stories, they were 5-minute little campy shorts.
Now, were they live action?
They were live action.
Yeah,
live
that's
action.
what I thought. Okay.
And playing Spider-Man was Danny Seagram. And I've been searching for this guy. I've been searching for him because I want him on the show. And for some reason, they didn't let Spider-Man speak.
Oh,
He always had thought bubbles.
Okay.
Now, if you know Spider-Man, you can't shut the kid up.
He's very quippy.
Very quippy. And it had another amazing theme song. Spider-Man.
Where are you coming from, Spider-Man? Nobody knows who you are.
Nice.
They never failed with their awesome theme songs. Then there were Spider-Man spin-off comics. Now, as a kid, the gateway into most anything was the merchandise.
Okay.
All right,
Yo, of course.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Star Wars, kids played with the toys. The Planet of the Apes with me was playing with the Mego figures.
My Little Ponies. I had those little My Little Ponies. I'd play with them in the bathtub.
Look at these.
What?
These are original Spidey comics.
Oh, can I see them?
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So these are the comics I would read because they were easy reading. You know what? I just noticed this. There's a little easy reader right over here, and he says, "Easy reader says this comic book is easy to read."
But you know what's funny about that is the font is about a 5-point, so it's really hard to read that.
Yeah, and do you know who that is? That's Morgan Freeman.
What?
On Electric Company, Morgan Freeman played Easy Reader.
Easy Reader, that's my name.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. So I love these comics. Oh, I love them so much.
Can you open it? I want to see.
Okay.
I want to see one.
Okay, hold on. You know what? Don't make me regret this, but you can hold one. You can hold a Spidey Super Stories.
Ooh, here's Cap making a little cameo. Ooh, and Wanda. Oh my goodness! Look, Wanda and Vision and Hawkeye and Captain America are in this comic with Spider-Man. Well, look at that. Amazing.
And now, producers of Spidey Super Stories, look, Spider-Man is talking. He's talking in these panels. So come on. Why didn't you let him talk?
Mm-hmm.
That always disturbed me as a kid. Oh, hold on. I got to show you this cover right over here. One day, this showed up at my doorstep because I would have these delivered in the mail.
Oh.
This showed up. The
Now, what
Star
is this?
Wars Spidey Super Story.
Oh my goodness,
cover.
that's the Star Wars cover.
Yes.
And who is that in the background? Is
That's
that
Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom
That's
is in the
Dr.
background
Doom,
in the
yes.
Darth Vader like head pose, right?
Yes, like, you know, the
And then-
Star Wars poster, you had the big Vader helmet
Yeah.
looming in the background.
This is like the Hildebrandt poster.
Yes.
And so Spider-Man here is carrying a lightsaber.
Yeah, a red
And
lightsaber.
he's in the Luke pose where he's
Mhm.
got it held above his head. And then who's playing the Leia?
I don't know who that is.
Okay, it's green.
But as a kid, we had this was the ultimate crossover. Spidey
Yeah.
and Star Wars. Oh my goodness.
That's amazing.
When that showed up at my door, my mother held it until I finished school that day because she knew I was not going to go to school if this was sitting right there waiting for me.
Wow.
Even being 20 pages would have taken me all day to read. Hey, check it out. Talk about merchandising. This is my original Mego Spider-Man doll. I mean, sorry, action figure.
Wow.
There he is right there. And there's like a company that reproduces old Mego boxes. This is how the action figures would come back in the 1970s and 80s in this box with a window in it. So this company just went and produced their own Spidey toys. Not toys, but the packaging.
Yeah.
You know how I love packaging. And look at this. That was the Spider-Man from the Spidey Super Stories.
Oh, how funny. His eyes are so small.
Yeah.
Wow. My goodness. As someone who face paints a lot of Spider-Man faces, I know the eyes go way down here, all the way up to the top of your the forehead here.
Oh, he's
yeah.
fun to draw.
Yeah.
And they even have the Power Record Spider-Man record. Oh, it's like show and tell now. The record and book series. See, it all comes alive with the merchandising. All right, but then in 1977, there was a Amazing Spider-Man live action series. And this ran for 2 years.
And this starred from Sound of Music, Friedrich von Trapp.
Yes, Nicholas Hammond.
Oh, he's Friedrich. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Then when we went to go see, I didn't see Sound of Music until I saw it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm watching it, it's like, that's Peter Parker. That's Peter Parker playing Friedrich. In an interview, Nicholas Hammond said that they were trying to do something very serious, more serious than Batman. And this wasn't a joke, which I applaud that. But when you go look at the spider effects, the webbing, and him swinging across New York City and the stunts, they were very campy.
Okay.
Even if they didn't intend it, it was very campy. So
That's fine.
yeah.
Okay.
But still love me some Spider-Man. Which is why we're doing this episode, because we love us some Spider-Man. Now, tell us how you love us some Spider-Man.
Okay, well, so based on the year I was born and what I was into, I didn't really get into Spider-Man. Spider-Man didn't hit me in comics. It didn't hit me in any TV series because I wasn't a big TV watcher. So it really was the 2002 Spider-Man movie the Sam Raimi film with Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker. So I'm in college at this point, almost done with college, that I got into Spider-Man and really knew his story. So the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is my first Spider-Man. Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane. I was super into her. And then Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn. And then James Franco as Harry Osborn, which I always thought was a weird casting. But I did think the film itself, though, was really fun. The effects were amazing with Spider-Man flying through New York. It was so cool. And the music is by Danny Elfman. So this jumps off of Batman, really. And you got this really cool Spider-Man theme by Danny Elfman. And then, you know me and romance, Richard.
Oh, yeah.
I loved the Upside Down Kiss. Put romance in my superhero movies, I'm there. So that was my introduction. And those first 3 movies were really my Spider-Man. And I remember one year I was at a party and Tobey Maguire showed up with his 4-year-old daughter. And I was kind of smitten. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Spider-Man. So I think those movies, unbeknownst to me until I saw Tobey Maguire 10 or 15 years later, they have some nostalgia for me. So jumping off point here, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man follows Peter Parker on his way to becoming a hero. And here you really see him navigating life as a high school student, an internship at Oscorp, his friendships, while he's also trying to fight crime in New York as a fledgling Spider-Man. And this series is 10 episodes, and each are 28 to 30 minutes. They're pretty much spot on the same time. And like I was mentioning before, there's some super, super cute marketing for this. I remember we weren't sure when the series would air. Would this be dropped all at once on Disney Plus or not? But luckily, Marvel, Disney Plus, and Spider-Man Instagram all shared this little class schedule. And it's written up like a kid would write up their class schedule. And it shows that 2 episodes came out on January 29th. There was 3 episodes this week coming out on February 5th. Next week, there will be a further 3 episodes, and then the final 2 episodes will come out on February 19th. So within a month, you'll have the entire series.
I'm so glad that they've already greenlit a 2nd and 3rd season.
Yes.
Just to get those out a little bit quicker, because as soon as it started, it's pretty much already over.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Let's keep these going there, Disney Plus. These are really, really fun.
Yeah, now we have watched all 10 episodes through screeners, but for the purposes of this discussion, we're only going to share our thoughts or little details and things through episode 5.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Now, before we get into our behind the scenes discussion where we're going to share some clips with the creator, let's share our initial thoughts on the series so far.
Okay.
Like I said, my first introduction to Spider-Man was the live action Tobey Maguire. So I really appreciated this comic take on Spider-Man. I mean, Into the Spider-Verse was a little like this as well.
Very much so.
It was like a comic book brought to life in a movie.
I love those movies.
Oh, me too. And in this version, you have a little similar idea of that. However, they really leaned into that 60s comic book artwork. And so from there, that was the look of this series, and it was really cool. So the art brought me in because I'm very artistic, but then the characters really pulled me in. So just like Stan Lee always said, Marvel focuses more on the alter egos of their superheroes rather than the heroes themselves. So we really get a lot of Peter Parker in this series and, his high school relationships, his best friend, his crushes. And in fact, the actor who voices him, Hudson Thames, he mentioned this in a press interview.
What I definitely noticed right off the rip was how much time we spend with Peter versus Spider-Man. I very quickly realized that what makes Peter is his ability to stay hopeful and stay optimistic. And luckily everyone was really welcoming and cool and made me feel at home and allowed a safe space for me to kind of tap into that.
So about episode 7, I was getting really emotional when those relationships are tested more. And I just feel like this whole series is very, very well crafted. There's some great attention to detail. As we did more research on it, there's lots of little Easter eggs and things from different Marvel characters that we're seeing the origins of, especially his foes. And I love seeing the seeds of these characters start to sprout in new ways. And then there's the practical things. So in this series, Peter Parker is always carrying his backpack. His backpack has his Spidey suit in it, so it makes sense. It doesn't just appear when he needs it. And I just love this attention to detail. This little things that's just really, like, I appreciate.
Okay. Now, for me, I gotta change our background lights to red for Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
There we go. All right, now. I've been saying, I was really excited about this series because they were really leaning into nostalgia. But I was wondering, where are you going to take the 11th Spider-Man animated series? I didn't want another origin story. We're done with that. But they did it in a very different, unique way, which we'll get into in just a little bit. But like I was saying earlier, too, I like the comic book style where you see the panels.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just your regular animated series, but you actually see the panels of the comic within the frame.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll show you 2 frames.
Yes.
I love that so much.
Like when he's about to get bit by the spider, the screen turns into 3 different panels.
So now it's like a split screen.
It's a split screen, and you see on one side, you see his face. On the other side, you see Nico's face. They're just meeting for the first time. And in the middle, you see the spider crawling in his neck.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it zooms into that middle one and it bites him.
I really love that because it harkened back to Spidey Super Stories, because that was all presented, that was all structured in that way. Now, I love me some crossovers. And when that first episode we saw Doctor Strange, I knew that, I loved in the comic when they were always cross over with different characters, and seeing Doctor Strange, I knew that, okay, this was going to really delve into the whole Spider-Man superhero universe. I was happy with just one hero, but seeing Doctor Strange, great. Then, now this is not a spoiler because it's been publicized everywhere, we see Daredevil come in just a few more episodes. So now we have crossing over of different heroes, and I'm sure this having Daredevil here is a big, like, hey, Daredevil Reborn coming soon to Disney Plus.
Yes.
It's a commercial. Now,
and voiced by Charlie Cox.
Yeah. Now, if I were going to take away a point, I would say it's a little over the top with the voice acting, which is not, I wouldn't say that was a fault of the actors, but more of the direction. I find myself yelling at the screen like, Peter Parker, bring it down, Peter. Now, if I'm saying that, they're going way past 11. And I know Peter Parker is a nervous teen, but you don't need to say everything that's on your mind. Sometimes it's a little too much.
Now, that being said, I think Hudson Thames did an excellent job in playing a Peter Parker that it sounds a lot like the actor from the MCU.
Yeah, Tom Holland.
Yeah. In fact, for a minute there, we were questioning. I was like, wait, is that Tom Holland?
Mm-hmm.
His voice? So, yeah, I think he does a great job.
Okay. All right, Peter, this is the first day of the rest of your life. No need to be nervous. It's just orientation. At a high school for geniuses. How bad could this possibly go?
He's doing exactly what he's being directed to do.
Yeah.
It's a little too much even for me.
Huh. Wow. I didn't get that at all. So that's
right.
your critique.
All right, now let's get into this important question. Where does this fit in the MCU?
Here, we hear references to the history of the MCU, like the Sokovia Accords or the Battle of New York. They even reference the big superhero fight at the Berlin airport because that was where Spider-Man was like introduced in the MCU, was at that fight.
And since he was there at that incident,
that
was an early tip-off that this is not in the regular MCU timeline.
Exactly.
So right there, I got a little worried because I thought we were done with the whole multiverses.
Right. And so we did a little digging, and this series is part of Phase 5 of the MCU TV series, which also includes Agatha All Along, Daredevil Born Again, which makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
among others. Now, this Daredevil, I don't think, is supposed to be the Daredevil from Born Again either. I think this is just like its own
No, because this is its
multiverse.
own multiverse.
Right.
So we're not in the main MCU timeline, which kind of I'm not crazy about that, because when Deadpool and Wolverine destroyed the timelines, the multiverses, it was a huge relief for me, because it was just getting way too messy, and there were no stakes because someone could die and come right back again. So when that happens, I find it very hard to connect with these characters, knowing that they could die and it doesn't matter, because we're going to see them in a standalone movie in just a few months.
Now, Jeff agrees with you. The MCU is confusing, he says.
Yeah, it's just do away with the whole multiverses, and I thought we were done with that. And when I saw that this was a different multiverse, you know what? I'm going to take it down another point.
Well, keep in mind, this series was created during this multiverse time before multiverse fatigue. So this particular season, was announced, what did you say, 2021?
2021, yeah.
Right. So this has been in development a long time.
Okay.
And this series was originally intended to be set in the main MCU continuity, but the creative team found this too restrictive for storytelling purposes. And according to head writer and executive producer Jeff Trammell, that's what he mentioned. And by putting this on its own timeline, it allowed the series to explore familiar ideas and characters in new ways.
I agree, 1,000%. But with that, maybe do what the Batman is doing with the DC universe and setting itself apart. It's its own standalone.
Oh, okay. So you'd prefer like a
I prefer its own
standalone.
standalone. Maybe season 2.
Yes.
We'll get there, but ooh-wee.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee. Deadpool, we need you. We need you now more than ever.
You're our only hope.
Yes. So, who is this Jeff Trammell?
Well, he's relatively new to show running, and he started as a writer. So he contributed one episode of several animated shows to kind of cut his teeth. The Owl House is one. Amphibia is another. And then he got on board Craig of the Creek, which is an animated series on Cartoon Network that started in 2017 and is still going. And he's written over 100 episodes of that. And Spider-Man is now his first series as showrunner.
Wow.
Yeah, so what he did, he was writing Craig of the Creek, and he went in to pitch a series to the Marvel offices, and Marvel was like, we don't want that, but how about Spider-Man? Why don't you take on Spider-Man?
Okay.
Yeah, so right place and right time for that. Can I tell you a fun fact?
Sure.
Okay, so Trammell, when he was writing this series, considered including a young Jessica Jones as Peter's classmate.
I would have liked that.
I think that would have been fun.
That would have been really, really fun.
Yeah.
She's very underrated.
Mm-hmm. But one thing he did do that's different from any other Spider-Man iteration is there's no Ned in this series. Peter's best friend, Ned?
Yeah.
Right?
He's his armchair guy.
He's his armchair guy. Well, in this series, his best friend is Nico Minoru. Fun fact, Nico, we didn't know that name, but a lot of you Marvel fans do. She is part of the superhero team, The Runaways. Yeah.
That was that short-lived series on ABC.
Right, but it's also a comic.
Mm-hmm.
And in The Runaways, Nico's mother is a master of the mystic arts, but her mother and father are super villains. And Nico, though, follows in her mother's footsteps in terms of mastering the mystic arts with this staff of one. And she becomes the leader of the Runaways, who are fighting against the Prime, which is her mother and father and like this bad super villain team.
Okay.
And she's a powerful sorceress. And she becomes the leader of the Runaways.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish I had known that going in. There's a lot about this character I wish I had known going in.
So Nico in this series wears this purple necklace, which really reminded me of Agatha when we were watching these
and she
first
kept hanging on, and it's purple, so it's like, okay, where's that going to come back?
What is going on?
Yeah,
so,
there's some foreshadowing.
This necklace may be a reference to the Staff of One, which I think gives her sorcerer powers.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all we'll say with that.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Well, in the Runaways, I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In the series,
But in this series, her necklace is featured in every episode, so I feel like there's going to be something. So let's go over the voice actors from these first episodes and where else you may know them from, that we may know them from.
Mm-hmm.
So Peter Parker is voiced by Hudson Thames, and he played Peter Parker in the What If Marvel series. Yeah.
Okay. He does a great spot on Peter.
He does. He really does. And he was in the CBS show Ghosts as Crash for one episode, among other credits. But I'm just bringing up credits that we would know them from.
Okay.
Yeah. Aunt May is voiced by Carrie Walgren, and she is a big voice character in Mortal Kombat. So she voices Katana and Melina. And she's done tons of ADR for Star Wars series like Skeleton Crew and Star Trek Lower Decks.
Oh, whenever we watch the credits for all shows,
Yeah.
but in every Star Wars show, her name is always there. So when I saw her popping up for this, I got excited because she's not just an additional voice. Now she's got a role like Aunt May.
Yeah, it's really cool. Now, Nico Minoru is voiced by Grace Song, and she's done episodes here and there like The Premise and Launchpad and Adam Ruins Everything. I think this is her first big role. I mean, this is like a lead, a supporting character.
I'm not familiar with her other credits, but maybe some other people are, and they go, hey, yeah, these are big.
Yeah.
Now, Norman Osborn, he's voiced by Coleman Domingo.
Yes.
I know that name, but I couldn't tell you where I knew that name. And he's got a lot of credits, but he isn't in anything that I recognize. So I'm still very curious. How do I know that name, Coleman Domingo?
When I went to his IMDb, his face was very familiar, and he's won a Primetime Emmy for a guest actor as Ali in Euphoria. And he's also produced and starred in the indie film Sing Sing. And he's won multiple awards for stage and screen. He's been a writer on different shows. He's been in Steven Spielberg's Lincoln. He's been in Selma. Now, I do have to bring up Pearl, which is Peter Parker's crush. She is voiced by Kathy Ang, and she played Morgan Elsbeth, the younger version, in the Tales of the Empire series. I thought that was a fun little Star Wars connection.
Great crossover.
Yeah. All right, and then Harry Osborn is Norman's son, and he is played by Zeno Robinson, and he's done additional voices for Spidey and His Amazing Friends, for Marvel's What If, and he was in Star Wars Tales of the Empire as Amar.
Yeah, it was he and Barriss Offee, and they were being turned into Inquisitors, and Amar said, no, I want nothing to do with this. So the Grand Inquisitor, he made short work of him.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Didn't last long. Sorry.
All right, so those are some of the cast of characters. But now, how does this series relate or pay homage to the original comic run? Now, here, I do recommend you watch the YouTube version of this because we've put together a slideshow that will really show you the compare and contrast of this. So, Jeff Trammell wanted to visually separate this series look from all the other, 11 Spider-Man series?
10 preceding this.
10 preceding this, and also specifically the Into the Spider-Verse films. So let's hear what he says about that.
I also want to make sure that we are set apart. I know we're going to get compared to Spider-Verse, and while I welcome those comparisons, I also want us to be our own thing. So whether that's making sure our look feels unique, whether that's making sure that our characters feel unique, just having different characters around Peter is going to change who Peter is just by nature. And also having Norman kind of guiding him. Those are all things that we're definitely keeping in mind, but making sure that our Peter feels unique amongst a literal universe of spider people.
Now, Jeff mentions that specifically they went to the Spider-Man series that features art by Steve Ditko and then John Romita Sr. And this covers the series from 1963 to about 1970-ish. So we're going to show some slides here that really show you this comic book art. And okay, so the Amazing Spider-Man logo from this series, they really took that for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man logo. Look at that.
That did not go unnoticed when they first announced this series.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's that white with the
spiderweb background and those very thin letters.
Yep.
Yeah, oh yeah, that is what made me say, Okay, they know what they're doing.
Absolutely. So here's some comic book art that features Peter Parker in his just Peter Parker mode.
And J. Jonah Jameson.
Exactly.
And all of his school chums, including Flash.
Yeah.
His nemesis.
And Peter Parker in this comic art, he's got a pretty strong jawline and these big round owl glasses.
Like with these big woodsy owl glasses.
And his blue blazer. And so you look at the Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man art, and he's wearing always this blue, the exact same color blue sweater. And he's got those big owl glasses, and he's got a nice defined jawline as well.
If you're looking at this on YouTube, you're really going to point out that the upper left 2 panels, that's from the 1963 comic, and the lower right is Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. If you're just glancing at this, you would think it's the same artwork. It's the same artists. They got that close to it. Only in the comic book, Peter Parker's like 35 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Got like 4 kids.
Oh, my God.
And a mortgage.
Yeah, he's got a receding hairline almost. Look at that.
He has this vampire peak. But in the new series, he looks more like the 16-year-old that he should be.
Yeah, they shrunk his face a little bit. It's not quite
and his
as
whole
long.
body.
Yeah, that too. All right, and here is one more picture here. This features when Spider-Man in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man goes and saves Harry Osborn from a gang of kids. And you see some similar scenes happening in the comic book run as well.
The new Spider-Man, he's got these tubes that power his web slingers, which are very, very reminiscent of the underarm webbing he had in the original comics.
That helped him fly. He looks like one of those flying
squirrels.
Yeah. All right, now we've got Blind Wipe commenting. I don't know why people are hating on this show the first 2 episodes.
What?
Wow. Who? I don't know either.
Reviews.
It was really fun.
Wow.
Interesting. I mean, we have some critiques, but we're not hating on it. So Trammell really wanted to achieve that comic book look. So he and his team worked with the animation studio Polygon Pictures, and their task was to use 3D animation, but make it look 2D. So let's hear a little bit from Jeff.
We were very fortunate to work with like incredible character designers who are able to give it this 2D quality on these 3D models. No other Spider-Man show looks like this. I think there's something really nice about having our own identity amongst so many different Spider-Man in the world.
So I think they really achieved this look very well.
And in this series, we see the evolution of all of his suits.
Right.
Okay, another little critique, because you know what? Not everything is going to please everyone. For me, I just wish they had gone to his classic suit a little bit sooner.
Okay.
But we don't see that until midway to the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we say, we love the blue and the red, so we're here for the costuming.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you talk about costuming. So let's talk about how the character design of some of these villains coming up really matches or references the character's design from the 60s. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So Doc Ock, let's talk about him. So on the left, you have some panels from the 63 comic of Doc Ock. He's got a very square face, these big black and gray goggles.
Now this is 100%.
Yes.
They hit this 100%.
And he's got this green jumpsuit and gold boots. Well, yes, here Doc Ock, you see on the right side, this is Doc Ock from the series. This was a photo that was shared at Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, it's spot on. He's very blocky, very square-jawed.
He's got his lab coat on and the yellow boots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this right here is Steve Ditko.
I mean, look at this face. The face is like spot on, even down to the weird jowls on the side of his cheeks. Yeah, it's great. Okay, and then here you have Rhino.
Rhino.
So on the left side, again, we have Rhino from the comic.
Oh, look at this big burly guy. Look at him.
Oh my God. Now, this Rhino was introduced in issue 41, and this is John Romita Sr.'s work.
Mm-hmm.
So not Steve Ditko anymore. And his look is very blocky, and he's just got this gray bodysuit on with this big rhino horn.
Oh, as a kid, I loved elephants and I loved rhinos. I think I loved rhinos because of this character.
So as you can see, Rhino in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, he's got a gray, what is this called?
Tank top.
Tank top and gray pants. So he doesn't have a great jumpsuit, but he's mimicking the colors, and the face is very, very similar, very blocky, very squared off jaw. He just, sadly, the rhino head didn't make it, sweetie. The rhino horn.
Could you imagine this thing coming at you? The original rhino.
Oh my
If this
God.
thing came at you, it's like, okay, first I gotta laugh at this costume. Dude, it just doesn't really say that you're here to wreak havoc.
Yeah.
It says here that you're here for a birthday party.
Now, I'm not going to share some of the other villains coming up because we haven't gotten to those episodes yet, but I do want to share a fun fact.
Oh, please.
So it wasn't until I was researching this episode that I learned that Marvel Comics began releasing a 5-issue comic book prequel series for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and it's a companion to this series, and they started release in December of 2024. Yeah, so here is the comic book cover here, and what it does is it fills in the timeline gap in the series' first episode. So right after Peter Parker gets bit by the spider, there's this time jump of like a couple months, and all of a sudden he's best friends with Nico, and he's like, discovering Spider-Man. Well, there's like a 5-issue comic book series that will cover that time.
Awesome.
And you can read the first right now if you have Marvel Unlimited.
Gotcha. Will do. All right, Jeff says, Rhino always seemed like an odd choice for a villain to me. Very, very odd choice. And he was in one of the films.
Yes. Was it
Paul?
Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti played the Rhino, and
he was like at the very end of what
came and
number
went.
2 or number 3? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Hold on. Hold on. Jeff in the Sky Chat is coming in saying he was also in Kraven the Hunter.
Who?
Rhino was in Kraven the Hunter, or Paul Giamatti? Yeah.
Rhino was in Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah.
What?
All right, so now, how does Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man pay homage to other Spider-Men's?
Other Spider-Men?
Spider-Man.
Well, the opening title music begins with the Spider-Man theme song, Richard.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. But I can't sing the new theme song because it has more of a rap mix.
Right. So they mixed a rap over that Spider-Man theme song, and this theme song is called Neighbor Like Me. It's by the Math Club. And it's really sampling the Spider-Man 1967 theme song.
Swinging through the city so fast you can barely
I thought it was cute. Yeah, I was into it. Even though it was rapping, I was like, "Oh, I'm down with this." As we watch the opening titles. Also, there's so many Easter eggs in the opening titles, but I'll just bring up a couple. So the opening titles have the little Spider-Man versions from the top left corner of your comic, and through the years. So here it goes through. There's like 5 iterations.
Tags. I'm not sure if these little things have names. Like when Star Wars, it's always like Luke looking like He-Man with the red lightsaber.
Right. Yeah, this one is they just share a bunch of these, and it says Marvel Comics Group 12 cents. 12 cents for your comic. I thought that was so cute. Also, so Spider-Man's original comic book debut was not in his own comic. It was in the comic called Amazing Fantasy number 15 in 1962. So at the end of the title sequence to the first episode, there's a reference to the cover art of that 1962 comic. And it's on the Daily Bugle. Also, within the show itself, they show the Daily Bugle, and it has that comic book referenced. So here you see on the left, you see Amazing Fantasy with Spider-Man on the comic holding a green guy.
It's a criminal.
Is it a criminal?
Yeah,
okay.
A green jacket.
All right. Well, in the Daily Bugle photo here from the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man series, you see Spider-Man in that same pose holding Harry Osborn, who is in a green jumpsuit. So same coloring.
This is very much like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau when they tie in nostalgic images to their Star Wars shows. With that, you know that fans are putting this together.
Oh, yeah.
Because they want to sprinkle all these fun Easter eggs all throughout the series.
And also, so we're going to have to look at all the title art, but in episode 2 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the titles end with a tribute to the Brand New Day, Amazing Spider-Man comic number 546.
Wow.
And it's a very famous comic book cover with Spider-Man leaping over a building and he's pulling up his mask a little bit at the same time. And so that's a reference to that. Isn't that cool?
Awesome.
Oh, Jeff says, I love these kind of references. Yeah, they're super cool. So I just had to share that because it's amazing. So now...
I get it. It's amazing.
Oh, amazing fantasy. And if you look very quickly at the very opening of when Peter Parker is waking up, he has like a comic on it or a book on his head and it says amazing fantasy on it.
But you see it for like 3 frames.
Oh, yeah. You got to like really pause it.
All right, so now one thing we didn't really point out other than the Spider-Man theme song is Marvel music.
Ooh.
Where did we hear MCU music in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man?
So when Doctor Strange appears in episode 1 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, you hear the MCU theme for Doctor Strange. And I thought that was so cool.
Where do you think you're going?
Oh my gosh, it's some kind of magical wizard guy?
I'm glad you're here to point out these things.
Yeah.
I would never notice that.
I didn't notice it the first time we were watching because there was so much visually happening. But the second time we watched, I was like, oh, that's Michael Giacchino's Doctor Strange theme. So amazing. And now one more visual reference. You can see in the New York skyline in the opening of episode 1, you can see the Avengers Tower right there.
Where is it? Oh, yeah. There it is.
It's so cool. So, and you can see it in different scenes too, like when he's running around the city, but this was the best screenshot I could find. So it's clear that the creators of the series just really love Spider-Man and have done their homework in referencing the classic comics, even down to the names of characters that become villains later. You know, things like that. Like almost everyone that Peter meets in his internship, I think, become villains down the line in the classic comics. So there are many, many more references, but we would really be here for hours if we didn't stop now.
All right, let's do it.
No.
Well, you know what? Skywalkers, watch the series and tell us what references and homages that you see. We want to see from your perspective as well.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. We would love to know that.
The whip.
Shoutouts, Skywalker shoutouts. Which Skywalkers get props from here in Neverland? Who was tweeted out? Shout out. Who was photobombed? Shout out. Who was shared a post? Shout out.
All right, Skywalkers, it's the first show of the month. You know what that means? That we spread the love to you, the Skywalking Force.
That's right. We want to thank you so much, Anthony Kakias,
Blessed Cheesemaker,
Bryn McKinnon,
Carl Fox,
Chickavent,
Christopher Marino,
Courtney Turkel,
Dale Erdman,
Darren Irvine,
Dave Kerwin,
Don Glover,
DynastyBook.net,
Garrett Sessions,
Glenn Stein,
Goalie Rob,
Jeremy and Heather Hunt,
Joey Pittman,
John Liang,
John Zancanaro,
Jonathan Chiato,
Jordan Paley,
Julie Caruana,
Julie and James Gildersleeve,
Justin Smith,
Cato Toby Ryder.
Happy birthday, Cato. Today's his birthday.
Oh.
Kristen Carr,
Kelly Turkel,
Laura Bryce,
Leanne Nelson,
Meredith Duckworth. Hey, Meredith.
Michael Corbett,
Michael Knipp,
Mike Ward,
Nancy Steinman,
Patrick Pine,
Patty Hammond,
Peter and Norma Heitman,
Patty Nazarian,
Reynold Gobey, Ryan Wiltberger,
Sasha Barrios,
Scott Carmichael,
Scott Hume,
Taryn Bench,
Wesley Meecombs,
William Megalio,
and Wynn Patterson. Thank you to one and to all. We can't thank you enough for supporting Skywalking Through Neverland over 11 years and 502 episodes.
Woo!
All because of you. Well, that wraps up episode 502 of Skywalking Through Neverland. We want to thank Disney for sending us the screeners for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which gave us the opportunity to break them all down and compare and contrast. This was really fun.
It was, yeah.
And we want to thank all you Skywalkers for watching the live streams, for commenting, for subscribing, for following, for everything that you do. You do so much, and we really appreciate it, which is why we always go well above and beyond for everything that we do.
That's right. Skywalkers, you can find us on all of our socials at Skywalking Pod. And do you have things you want to share? Well, every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific on YouTube, we go live and we share things that we've done the past week or things we've acquired, maybe some collectibles. And we invite you, Skywalkers, to come on and share something you've done or share something you've just added to your collection as well. This week, Julie Gildersleeve came up and we were able to share what Julie and I did at the Run Disney Expo. That was really fun.
Lots of Ahsoka talk.
And then Richard, you share trivia.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a way to workshop our trivia. So if you want to see some behind the scenes or get in on that, join us.
Thank you very much for your comments and for your help. Now, are you interested in our books? Autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History Part 1 and 2 and Skywalking Through My Fandom, the interactive notebook, are available now at skywalkingthrough-neverland.com/book.
Would you like to support Skywalking Through Neverland and hear your name listed every month on this show? Well, you can consider supporting us through the Skywalking Force, which is our Patreon. Not only do you hear your name every month, you get your name in the credits of every YouTube video we do, and you also get access to our former Zoom discussions and now our live stream StreamYard discussions on Disney Plus shows. Daredevil Born Again is coming up.
Oh, in a few
We're
weeks.
going to need to talk about that, right? Yeah. Also, the movie. We should do a movie discussion on Captain America.
Oh.
And what is it?
And Captain America Brave New World?
That one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, so this...
A Whole New World?
Oh my God! Someone's got to do that mashup. I want to see a reel. Oh, wow. Well, that bonus content begins at only $5 a month. You can head to skywalkingforce.com, have a look at the options, and thank you once again, those of you who are part of the Skywalking Force.
Now, we want to thank our sponsor once again, Small World Vacations, for their continued support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park, a Universal theme park, or a Disney cruise? Well, you can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge, so check it out and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you, but just don't add in a thwip. Once again, spiderwebs are really messy.
We are part of the Skywalking Network. Skynet. Where you can also find other great shows like Talking Apes,
The Neverland Clubhouse,
the Max Effects Podcast,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
Star Warsologies,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis and
Today in Star Wars History.
Now, don't forget to stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show. And
always remember,
thwip.
And
Neverland on Alderaan.
Clappy clap flip. Whoa. No, that's hard. Clappy clap thwip. No, that's hard to say. Can you try to say that?
Clappy clap thwip.
How do you say that so nice?
Clappy clap thwip.
Clappy clap thwip. That's hard to do with my mouth. I can't. Okay.
Well, try my mouth.
All right.
Yeah, no, Jeff's saying Baby Galactus.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Galacticus.
I've said Galacticus because you said Galacticus.
I can't say Galactus. I can only say Galacticus.
You have practice from stir, stir, whip.
Stir, whip, stir, whip, 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 whip.
And here's what's his name? Dr. Strange. Right? Isn't that Dr. Strange? Yellow. Oh no, he's got a yellow cape. Wait, who is this?
That might be a new
schemer's hideock. Oh,
villain.
So he's a bad guy.
He's the bug sprayer.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Turn the page.
Oh yeah, he's got a bug spray. What the heck?
And, can I say that it was because of those Tobey Maguire movies that I was turned off of Spider-Man?
Oh no! Wow.
But you know what?
And we're going to get the new underlay. Boop. There we are. Look how cute it
I
is.
gotta get into costume.
Look at how cute.
Okay, how distracting is this?
That's amazing.
Oh, I love these
there
things.
you go. It's winking.
Oh, huh?
It's so funny.
So now, who is this Josh Trammell?
Trammell.
Trammell.
Jeff.
So who is this Did I say Josh?
Yes.
So who is this Jeff Trammell?
Trammell.
So who is this Jeff Trammell? What is it?
Trammell.
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 That sounds so wrong. Okay, Jeff is helping me out here.
Oh, okay.
Trammell, Superman's uncle. Trammell.
Oh! Like Kal-El.
Yes.
Okay, Trammell. Trammell. That helps.
Trammell. Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.